of the National Education Union. She joins me from Cambridge. Niamh, good morning.
Good morning.
First up then, can we expect you to be on a picket line later?
I'm not on a picket line. I'm doing media rounds this morning, but I'll be joining our members at a rally in Dunstable later this morning.
Give us a sense then of the mood among striking staff as these picket lines and rallies are set to get underway. Why have you considered the government's latest pay offer as insulting?
Well, our members, it's teachers and school leaders that rejected that pay offer as insulting because it wasn't funded. It wasn't enough to bridge the gap between lost wages due to inflation and under inflation pay offers in the last 10 years. And we've got the biggest teacher recruitment and retention crisis that education has ever seen. I was talking to teachers yesterday, and they were trading stories about how they've got no drama teacher, no DT teacher, no geography leader, no RE teacher. And when leaders are advertising these posts, they're not getting any applicants because people have left the profession and aren't coming into the profession. A third of secondary head teachers have said that they have had to make cuts to GCSE and A-level subjects because of budget pressures. And we are really calling on the government to talk to the profession, to get back round the table, to have a better negotiation about how they are going to long-term fund the education system so that every child has a qualified teacher in their classroom.
There are worries too, aren't there, Niamh, that these latest strikes, though, could impact badly on pupils, certainly those entering the key exam season now. And it will, won't it, unless you've put enough resources in to make sure they do remain on track. Have you?
But there aren't enough resources in the classrooms every day. So many of our teachers who teach Year 11 and Year 13 students will have been working with those young people in their own time, doing additional sessions, catch-up sessions, revision sessions, providing resources for them. But those young people taking their GCSEs and A-levels and other exams this year will have gone through the pandemic, won't have received, in some of the largest class sizes in Europe, they're being taught by, geography GCSE or chemistry GCSE by a non-subject specialist because we don't have enough teachers. And this government is saying to those young people, just get back to normal, just get on with it. And that isn't fair. That isn't fair on this group of young people. GDP spending on education is down from 5.8% to 4.3% since 2010. And our members are saying to the government that that isn't good enough for this group of young people.
And we know the Education Secretary's called these walkouts extremely disappointing. That's the quote from Gillian Keegan, who's also said that allowances should be made for those pupils who need to be in the classroom. Let's just have a listen.
Obviously, what we're doing is urging the schools to make sure that they keep the schools open for vulnerable children, for those children of key workers, and most importantly for exam cohorts. So we've asked for those children to be prioritised in school.
Again, I'd like to ask you, do you firmly believe enough resource has been put in across the strike action days for those pupils to be protected? And also, what would your union now recognise then as being a good pay offer, should it emerge?
Well, we need to see from the Secretary of State that she is prepared to invest in the profession, the education profession that has seen their wages, their real-term earnings decrease between 11 and 23% in the last 10 years. We need a long-term pay restoration plan. So they rejected the offer that she gave in the end of March. We need to get back around the table and start negotiating. And as for vulnerable children and children that need additional support and care, this government has cut social care services, all services, children's mental health, speech therapy, language therapy. It's drained money from those services in local authorities. And that puts additional pressure on schools. So if the Secretary of State says that she wants to ensure that children are protected and vulnerable children have access to the support services they need, then she needs to put her money where her mouth is.
And just finally then, how would you describe negotiations with the government to date? And by that I mean the sort of mood music around it all. You know, has it been really tough, really complex? I mean, clearly you've got nowhere, otherwise these strikes wouldn't be happening. And also sum up for us the morale amongst members just now, again, when it comes to the government's handling of the dispute.
Well, I think our members are absolutely dismayed that, you know, they don't want to be on strike action. They are doing this for children, for young people, for the profession, for the future of education. And they don't understand why the Secretary of State is not talking to us. So we haven't had negotiations since that initial offer at the end of March. We have called on the Secretary of State to come and meet with us. We're prepared to meet with her today, this afternoon, tomorrow. You know, there is real pressure on her. It is her role, her job, to ensure that there are enough teachers and resources in our schools and colleges. And she should be really careful that the other unions, so the National Education Union is on strike action today, but school leaders in ASCL and NAHT and the NASUWT will be moving towards balloting as well. So, you know, this is the whole profession saying to the Secretary of State, we've got a big problem here, let's help us solve it.
Niamh Sweeney, good to speak with you this morning. I know you've got a busy day ahead. Thank you, Deputy General Secretary.